Thrunite TC10 V3 is what we are up to now. And if you're playing along at home, this is the updated version of the Thrunite TC10 V, which one? V2, that's right. And this one is sporting the new Cree XPL V6 emitter right there, which is updated from the XML2 emitter on the TC10 V2. And honestly, I could not tell you a single thing about the emitters. I am not an LED snob. There's plenty of people on Candle Power forums that are. I couldn't tell you the difference between the XML2 and the XPL V6. Apparently the XPL V6 is better. I don't know. For me, I'm happy when I push on the back of the light and bright stuff comes out of the front. And that's what I know about the LEDs. What I do know though is that as time goes on, the LEDs get progressively better and the flashlights can put out more light with less power for longer amounts of time. And that's, I think, a good reason to update to some of the newer lights, because you get better run times, more efficient lights, and brighter outputs. I wish I still had that. I had an old Phoenix that put out, I finally threw it out because the light was so useless. It put out 300 lumens, and I thought at the time, well, who needs more than 640K, as Bill Gates said way back when. And at the time, I thought, who needs more than 300 lumens? Because, geez, it'll never get brighter than that. But now this one here puts out 1050 lumens and do that for 2.2 hours, they say. This light comes in two fashion colors, a cool white and a neutral white, with that LED down there and that deep smooth reflector, and it will throw this beam 330 meters, they say. And again, I need to put just a little snippet that I can just copy and paste in every video. 330 meters. To get that into a useful distance, I simply change the name of the unit from meters to feet, and that gives you 330 feet. No math involved, and that's about a reasonable distance for what you're going to get with this little over a football field, because this puts out a fairly focused beam. I'll take you outside and show you in a bit. And so it's a good tactical light, long throwing, nice in that feature. Could you use it for other stuff? Normal around the house, normal camping, normal? Sure, of course you could. Great for a bedside light, plenty of uses for this light. Price on this, $69.95 if I didn't say that already. The other nice thing about this light is it's rechargeable, and that is right here. And before we get to that, let's just look at what comes with the light. It of course comes with the Thrunite packaging, standard Thrunite packaging, which we'll get out of the way. Also comes with a micro USB cable. Plug this end into a standard standard USB plug. This end plugs right into this little spot here, and it will charge. It will take about 4 hours to fully charge the battery. The battery is in here. Thrunite 3400 milliamp hour battery. It's included, it's rechargeable. I always appreciate that companies are starting to include batteries with their lights now. While we're in here, there is an O-ring right here. There are springs on both sides, so there's not going to be any rattling around of that battery in there. Other stuff that comes with it, there's a bag here which comes with a lanyard, some extra O-rings, an extra tail cap button, and some extra O-rings with the little micro USB flapper thing. And this helps to keep this light water rated to IPX8, so it's going to take plenty of stuff, whatever you can throw at it. Also comes with a pocket clip carved out for extra weight savings, or something like that. That's what I'm going to say. Right there, and that snaps right onto the back of the light right there. It snaps on pretty darn firmly, so once you put it on, don't plan on taking it off real soon, but that goes right there. This cigar ring here does come off if you're so inclined. If you want to use the light without it, you can just kind of screw it off like that, or you can leave it on there, whatever you like. The lanyard, there are a couple lanyard holes. There is one right here, and then there are lanyard holes on the back of the tail here, and it will tail stand. Also comes with a belt clip case, pretty standard belt clip case. Most lights come with these days. I'm not a belt clip case kind of guy, but this is just kind of a normal belt case. Fits right down in there, reasonably snug. Velcro here, and then regular pass through there, and then a D-ring. Standard case. Of course, it comes with instructions and a little thank you letter. Instructions are upside down. Instructions and a little thank you letter from Thrunite. On to the light, let's have a look here. So on the back, there is the tail button. The tail button is a forward click design. So you half press and it comes on, and full click and it will stay on. There's some knurling there. You saw the tail comes off, the cigar ring comes off. Some more knurling down here. Right there, the Thrunite TC10 V3 on the other side, model or serial number. Right here, like I mentioned, is where the light charges. And then on the other side, the button to change the modes, which I'll show you. Heat sink forward to that. The bezel is a little crenulated. And then there, that deep smooth reflector for a good amount of throw with this light. When you turn the light on, this here will glow briefly. You can see it's blue. There's 3 colors. When this is blue, it means it's fully charged. When it turns red, that means it's below 10%, and a flashing red means it's below 5%. Definitely time to recharge it. When you're charging it, the light actually has to be on. So plug the cable in, turn the light on, and this light should be a solid purple. Honestly, it looks red to me. If this is flashing purple, that means there's a problem with the charge. Either there's no battery in it or the light is not on. So when you're charging it, make sure you turn the light on, otherwise you're not going to get any charge on the battery. Modes for this: moonlight mode, 0.5 lumens. It will do that for 45 days. You turn it on with the tail button, has mode memory, and it even memorizes the moonlight mode, which is nice. Moonlight modes, even this half lumen, are surprisingly useful, like I mentioned in all my other videos, when your eyes are adjusted to the dark. So half a lumen, it will do that for 45 days, and then you change the brightnesses with the side button. 14 lumens for 3 days, 180 lumens for 9 hours, 440 lumens for 3.4 hours, and 1050 lumens for 2.2 hours. And then there's a strobe that you get to by long pressing, and it goes into that strobe. It's a fixed frequency strobe, not alternating. And then press it again, and it goes back to whatever brightness you had. As I mentioned, it has mode memory, so there it is on the turbo. Turn it off, and you can turn it back on to the turbo. Turn it on to one of the medium modes, off, and back onto the mode. One of the things that it does have that I don't know if I really like is when you're going up through the brightnesses, if you stop, say here, and you let it sit for, I'm not sure, this is maybe 5 seconds or so, when you try and go to the next mode, it immediately goes back down. So it'll ramp up until you stop at a brightness for a period of time, and then it goes back down to the moonlight mode. I think I would prefer that it just keeps ramping up so that you know where you are, as opposed to you get halfway up and it's there and, oh, I have to go back to the moonlight mode after I've been sitting there for 5 seconds or so. It's a minor thing, but that's something to note with the user interface. One of the nice things about this user interface, though, is that it's simple. Some of my lights, every time I pick them up, especially some of the headlamps, I feel like I need to get the instruction manual out every time because I don't know what button does what and how do I change between modes and different sections and different bifurcations that the modes have. This one is very straightforward, which makes it very nice, very handy, very easy to use for your family, for your grandmother, for whoever. Let's head outside and have a look at the beam profile. I'm going to start with the moonlight mode, which up close when your eyes are adjusted is plenty bright. And then just using some of these lower brightnesses, you don't need the full 1050. These medium brightnesses, which go for plenty of time, are plenty bright for most things that you're going to need. If you ramp up the full brightness, there's 1050 lumens, and you can see the beam pattern. Pretty decent hotspot with not a ton of flood, and that's going to give you a lot of throw. There it is on the house down the street and even further down the street. So long throwing light, long press it, and you get that strobe. Press it again, and you're back to whatever fixed output that you had it on. So not a whole lot to say about the function of this light because it's got a pretty straightforward user interface, as I was mentioning. But the big thing with this is it's a big thrower. Not so much flood, but lots of throw and lots of brightness and lots of runtime. It says it'll go 2.2 hours at that 1050 lumens. I don't know if it ramps down a little bit, but still lots of runtime. So another great one from Thrunite with the new updated LED. Check this one out, the TC10 V3.